Hey everyone! My name is Tove. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. This is Tove Knits and Advent Sunday number 4. And that also means podcast in December number 4. We're gonna look at all the whips that I brought with me to Finland because, ta-da, I am in Finland. As you can see, it is green on the grass field and not white. We're not gonna stress about that or talk about that anymore. Take a cup of coffee, take your knitting, and let's get into it. I flew to Finland from the Netherlands 3 days ago. I left a couple of my whips there. We will talk about the ones that I left. We will talk about the ones that I brought. And we will talk about what will happen until now and Christmas Eve. While I am wearing my rosy sweater by Lennit, let's start with my finished object. And I checked, and it's my first finished object in December. And it's 21st of December. I think that has never happened before. That I'm this far into a month and this is the first finished object that I'm sharing with you. This is of course because I tend to have whips following into a month. And they of course get made and done. That I didn't have on December. And also of course because the main whip I have is so big. I cannot finish that ahead of time. Like it takes the time it takes to open this advent calendar. So therefore we're here 21st of December and I only have one finished object. The finished object that I have is the twisted hat from Koto Kika, and this is the second hat that I'm making by this pattern. It's a double folded brim with twists, 2 columns of twists in the crown. Now, this yarn is the yarn I bought in Tessel. This is a natural dyed wool, dyed from the sheep coloring itself. And it's the second hat that I make from this wool and this pattern. So 50 gram is what it exactly is needed to make this hat. I first made one for myself a while ago, and this is now the second one, and I'm knitting this as a gift knit for the Christmas. Because it was the last 50 gram ball I used, I made the brim a little bit shorter. I did it also because on mine I think it's a little bit too wide. It's 7.5 centimeter and I made it 7 to start with, and then after that you fold by these like fold rows that helps the fold. After that I also made one twist repeat more than my version, because I think on my version it's a little bit tight on the top. So I made it a little bit more spacious on in the hat portion when I realized I did have enough yarn to do that. And then I did the increases or the decreases, and then we finish up the crown with just you pull all the stitches together. I haven't weaved in the ends. I haven't fastened the yarn either. I will block it now. Hopefully get it dried by Christmas Eve and then weave in the ends and gift it. My first gift knit and my first finished object. My second object or project is a half finished object because it's a set of socks and I have one sock done. Okay, let's have a look at it. You know it by now. It's a 2x2 rib using a normal stretchy cast on. I cast on 64 stitches and I cast on the the rib cuff in a scrap yarn I have. I think it is, go back and look if you can. It's a sock yarn from Long Yarn. Yes, it's Long Yarn. 75 wool, 25 nylon or polyamide. After that, I started use 6-row repeat or 6-row stripe of 3 colors I had left over from my advent calendar last year. And through those 6-row stripes, I did a slip stitch every 4th stitch. And you repeat that every 2nd row. I brought in the blue every 4th and continued the slip motif on the top of the foot, and I stopped it after I did a heel flopping gusset. I stopped the slip stitch on the bottom of the foot, and after the last blue row I did the toe. Usually I do the toe in decreases until it's half the stitch count so a 1/4 of a stitch count, and this time I continued 1 more decrease. So there we go, and then I kitcheneered it all together. So it's a seamless kitcheneer stitch. The person that will get these socks have very small feet, so I hope this will be good and fine for that person. For the second sock, I did them parallel. So the second sock I also am almost finished with. I've done the last yellow, so I'm done with the yellow. I now have just a beige, a brown, a blue, and a toe left. I am well on my way to finishing it today, I think. And then I will block them, and then I will also gift them at Christmas. I have this amount of mess of a yarn left, and after I'm done with these yarns I will throw them out, so I will count it off my stash, all of it, because I don't want it in my stash anymore, and it's only going to be like 2 grams of each color or anything like that, so it's not something I want to take with me home or continue putting in other projects. So there you go. Let's talk about the projects, the whips that I left at home. Now, the doodle tee I've talked about a lot this month. I set out to do a row a day to finish the mushroom doodle, and yes, I finished the mushroom doodle before I left to Finland, and that was also one of the targets. I need to finish it before I go because I'm not bringing it with me, and I'm not leaving that mushroom doodle. I'm really happy with it. It's really cute, and in the end the stem part of that motif went a lot faster than the head of the mushroom, so I'm also very happy about that. What is next for the doodle tee? I don't know. I think I'm just gonna look around the internet, let me get inspired, and then see when I can come back what kind of colors I have left, how much I have left of them. I'm gonna pick a color for the rib, so I'm gonna pick one of them ones that I have a lot of yarn for the rib in the bottom, and then put that aside, and then for the rest I'm gonna try to come up with something. I think I have to now plan ahead 3 doodles, because I think I have 3 doodles amounts of left, and then I'm done with the t-shirt itself, which is really, really interesting. It is definitely gonna be my Q1 plan to get that finished. So I have basically a doodle a month, and that worked fine in December. So I did basically a row a day, sometimes more, sometimes nothing. So that seems to be the pace I want to do for this doodle tee. Very happy with that, and really cute mushrooms. The shroomies are done. The second whip I left at home was Ted's blanket. I worked on it the last evening when I had packed everything else away. and I got this far. I'm seeing the vision. I'm hoping you're seeing it as well. It looks a little bit weird now, and it's because of all the edges rolls, because it's just the stockinette stitched project. But once you pick up those stitches and then have a next part of that roll, when it grows, it becomes a lot clearer. It's my own design from a very big skein of self-striping yarn. It's very huge stripes, to be fair, but still it has 3 or 4 color repeats. It's my own take on the jelly roll blanket, but continuously in a spiral, basically. I really like it. I wanted to do something blankety. I wanted to get rid of that yarn because it's a lot of yarn. I think it's 750 grams. So when I get that done, it's a lot of yarn from my stash, and it's a lot of acrylic yarn from my stash. One of the plans from June to the end of the year was to get rid of a lot more acrylic yarn, and I didn't really do that. But by starting this blanket, I sort of am going on to that path. I started a sweater with acrylic yarn, and I started this blanket with acrylic yarn. And the plan is not per se to get rid of acrylic yarn per se. Yes, I tend to go more to wool, and I use more wool, meaning that the balance in my stash is heading into more acrylic because I don't use it. Now, it's just because I couldn't really find a way to use up the acrylic yarn. I think I have now an idea to start doing that, so I'm going to talk about later. But yeah, it's just to have a little bit of a better balance. I tend to, every time I tend to buy yarn, it's wool, and every time I tend to sort of snatch yarn, it's wool. And I don't want only my stash to be acrylic. I still have a lot of grams in my stash still, and I'm gonna talk another video about my plans for 2026, but that really is to get under 10,000 grams of yarn. I think I can do it because I have a plan. Okay. So that's the Ted's blanket, indeed. All right. So that brings me to only one. Is that true? Yeah. All right. Yeah. Only one open whip left. I'm still working on the socks, but if I have that done, I only have one whip left, plus something I started that I'm going to show you. And that, of course, is the poncho, my advent whip of this year. Here it is in all its glory. Look at that. I tried it on a couple of days ago. There we go. I showed that yesterday as well. But if you only are here for the podcasts, this is it again. It's getting quite big. It's it's getting lengthy, and it's a good fit overall. I think it's a little bit hard to tell when you have it on cords and try on tubing and all of that, but I think it's going quite well. Beautiful green, beautiful pink, and this emerald green, purple, blue situation. This is up to day 20. No, this is day 19, sorry. This is day 20, so you can see the what's coming after that. So more purple, a little bit darker purple, and in a bit we're gonna open up day 21. So this poncho is my own concoction. The neck is a fold over turtleneck, I guess, with a drops charisma, which is a DK weight yarn wool, what I have in my stash, and the rest is then het atelier het wool based, I can never get that name correctly, wicked themed advent calendar, and I'm holding that yarn, which is a merino yarn, double. To get the thickness I want and to get a little bit faster, because I'm not doing 20 grams worth of fingering weight yarn every day. That's not possible. And to do a little bit more manageable, I'm holding it double. After I'm done, so basically I have 5 days left, so that's like another 10 centimeters, and after that I will add some kind of rib sleeved in the ends using the same charisma, and then I'm done with it. So by 24th I'll open up the last day. By 25th I probably will have that done, and then by 26th, 27 or something like that I will start on the sleeves. So the plan is of course to finishing it up by the end of the year and count that as a stash out in 2025. I went out on a limb with this project. I didn't know what the colors would be. I didn't know how I would do the increases because I made it up on the spot. I'm really proud of myself and I'm really happy how they came out. The colors are fabulous. I got a compliment out of the blue yesterday from one of my aunts, and she's like, gorgeous colors. She's a knitter and she's a crafter, so she really appreciates that as well. But that just shows like, that's amazing. We're on the right spot. Love it. This is day 20. I will wind that up, and I was actually thinking of doing a little bit of a tutorial how I wind up my skeins in a manual way to be able to, it's just not winding in a ball, because since I'm holding it double, I need to be able to pull from the inside and from the outside. So I'll show you that probably in a tomorrow video. But let's open up day 21. Here it is. We're coming to an end. It's a bit sad, but happy sad. Okay. Here is number 21. Can you see? Okay, no spoilers. We're just following on this theme of purple, but purple is now turning into blue again. The first part, Elphaba, was very clear. It's green, it's Elphaba. The second part is Glinda, of course, it's pink, and now it's going into this emerald purple situation. Really fun, really nice. The fade is still going. Well, to be fair, I would have wanted maybe this to be the next color and then I do that, but I'm gonna follow the intention of the dyer and do it this way. Very, very nice. My last started project I will talk about, and that is scrunchies. These are the two I've finished, and this is one I'm going. This is an ongoing one. This is from I haven't even snipped the edges yet. It's velvet yarn. It's a scrap yarn from Hobby Velvet Honey Bunny that I'm doing a scrunchie from. A very fun way of using up stash yarn, first of all, great for my project. Using up special yarn, the velvet, acrylic, glittery yarn that I'm not wearing this yarn, but it's really fun. Can you see the glitter? Yeah, there you go. But it's really fun and I would love it in my hair. So that's a project I came up with, and of course it's the greatest stash buster project. It takes like I did write it down. Yeah, it's like 12 grams worth of yarn, so it's not a lot, but I mean, it's also not a lot of work. I could pull this out in quite fast, and it's great for gift knitting. So I'm now making a couple of scrunchies to gift, which is gonna come handy for Christmas. This is the second, so this is a little bit of a thinner yarn, glittery yarn, and I'm holding two threads double. So one thread is from inside of the ball and one thread is outside the ball, and this is a color changing acrylic yarn with the glitter in it. So this means that one strand is this beige color and one strand is this gray color, and it gives this like awesome marled effect. Then I have a third one from this kind of colored yarn, blues and pinks, and that'll give me this kind of a dual color. Super duper cute. Another like 12-13 grams worth of yarns. That's it for what I'm working on. This means that I'm sort of finishing up projects, and this means I can start new projects. I have a list of items I would like to start on Christmas and following up in the new year. And I will be going to my local yarn store tomorrow to buy yarn for this. The first project is a fingering weight sweater. It's absolutely nothing that I plan to do on Christmas. It's not very wintry, but to be fair, right now in Holland it's like 8 degrees and it was 14 when I left, so you don't need a thick sweater. And that is the Citrine Light by Emily Green. What drew this to me was the shoulder details. It is twisted rib, 1x1 twisted rib through the sleeves and on the shoulder, and I really like that. I've done a lot of color work lately, so I'm up for something else. The second project I would like to go for and buy some yarn for tomorrow is the Heart Side cardigan. It's a new pattern from Wool and Pine, and it's a brioche cardigan. And the plan for 2026 was really to do more techniques, new techniques that I haven't tried before. And one of those, I've done brioche before, but brioche is definitely a technique that I would like to try more and be better at. So that's definitely one project that I would love to start already during Christmas. And then finally, a technique that I have looked into, but I have to buy the hooks for, and that is Tunisian crochet. Now, when I start a new thing, I just don't want to do like a small project out of that. I just want to jump in straight away because why not? So I found a sweater called Indecision Sampler Sweater, which sort of teaches you quite a lot of different stitches, I think, how it looks like, but in a sweater point of view. And this sweater is by Jennifer Lovett. When you crochet, and specifically crochet cardigans or garments or sweaters, you have to be really careful that the yarn is loose enough and not cotton. So I'm going to try to find a yarn that is loose, probably an alpaca yarn to be fair. Something with some alpaca and a little bit thinner, I think. So I'm going to check that out, but I have to also buy the Tunisian crochet hooks, and I don't think my local yarn store here in Finland have those hooks, but I'll see. Maybe she can order them for me. I don't know. But those three projects is what I'm gonna buy yarn for and look into starting already. Here, I brought a lot of Christmas gifts into Finland, and the plan was to then fill the bags up with yarn to bring with me home. So I'm entitled and allowed. Now, that means, of course, that the stash yarn will be high, and always will be in Finland. But okay, that's fine. At the moment, I came into December with a stash count on 15,403, and if I wouldn't buy any yarn, I would definitely get under 1,500. a lot under, because yeah, this is 480, just that, but then I have of course some for the neck and for the rib and the cuffs. That's 50 gram and so on and so on. But with the stash yarn in, it won't be, I think I won't end up with under 15,000, I'm sorry, 15,403 grams of yarn. But that's okay. I think that's it. I've talked long enough. I will have 3 more episodes, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and end up on the 24th. And then I will catch back here as a podcast on next Sunday. So last Sunday before the end of the year, then we will sort of tally up everything. I'll show you the yarn I bought. I'll show you the projects I started and finished. And then we'll see if I have already then plans for 2026 or if I have a different video for that. But then I think that's going to be the last one for the end of the year. And then we'll meet up back in the Netherlands when I go home. If you're not following Vlogmas, then I wish you a very happy Christmas with lots of joy and coziness and food and candy and yarn. And if you do follow Vlogmas, I'll just see you tomorrow. Bye!